All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is having a good Friday. I know I am. Oh, what's that button? Dude. All right. How's everybody doing this morning? How is everyone doing? Dude. Get the word out. All right. We have to do our social things because my tummy was hurting this morning. Oh. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for bearing with me. Uh, I also I might have to jump off the stream a little early, depending. My apartment's having their its fire inspection done today, so if you randomly see a guy show up in the back of the stream, that's what's going on. Is that I do have my fire inspection today, so depending on when they show up, right, is when we'll do that. But now that we've posted all of our social media things, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful morning. And it's time to talk about what happened this week. What happened this week? I don't know. Nothing really. It's been kind of a slow couple of weeks when it comes to 40K news in general. Let's pop on the old. Honestly, I really haven't been paying attention. I've been more thinking about this GT coming up here tomorrow. Oh, cool. There's a little first look at the Wicked in the Warp. I will say, for some of the news that is excited for this new sequel to Infinite of the Divine. I still haven't read it yet. I know, I still haven't read it, and that's a sin of mine. It's a cardinal sin. I need to point, but I just haven't yet. I need to sit down and read some books. I'm excited for the new Bjorn book. I'm very intrigued about it. It feels pretty cool. Oh, these are actually a passage from it. That's cool. Maybe if we get enough viewers towards the end of the stream, I'll do a dramatic reading of this. I'll do voices. Yeah. If we get enough people at the stream at the end of the stream, if we have at least 30 minutes by the end of the stream and there's at least 4 people, I'll do a dramatic reading and I'll be as silly and we'll have a good time. That'll be super fun. Neato. Well, right now we've actually got the Salt Lake City GT
Please.
on some gameplay background while we talk about everything that's going on. So I'm curious because I honestly have been kind of like sitting under a rock for a second. There was a whole bunch of news with the WTC where people weren't able to see people's lists or something. Does anybody know what I will say it's so funny seeing all of the terrain that's not either GW official or they've done a great job at making it themselves. So you have tables that are like, man, that looks so good. Also, I would not want to be fighting this. Freaking 3 great or it looks like 2 great unclean ones in Ronagus. I would not want to fight that. Scary. But I love this terrain. I will say, I've been a very big fan of the new way that the terrain has been set up, like the new map layouts. Oh, look, they're a little messed up. That's okay. Man, this is a crazy matchup. Big boys versus what's it called? Custodes. But yeah, I've been a big fan of the change up. Speaking of the change up, I've been playing some priority assets. Let's talk about it. I like priority assets. I was worried about it at first, and I was initially like, "Ah, no, you guys are gonna make me play priority assets on my beautiful coterie. What am I gonna do?" Right? But it's been a blast. It's been super fun. Um, we can go over kind of the list that I'm bringing tomorrow. Give y'all a sneak peek, especially if you guys are going to be there. If you end up facing me, that'll be a fun one. You'll know all my secrets. That's fine. Everybody already knows all my secrets. But before we jump into any of that, how's everybody's week been? Anybody play any exciting lists? Anybody have any fun game moments that they've played at all? Any games that you guys are enjoying? Any models that you guys are painting up? I'm still working on my Lord Exultant guy, and he's looking pretty good. I'm pretty excited for him. I still need to do more work on him. I've got that extra piece that I'm starting to kind of piece together, and I will find a way to make it JoJo's inspired, since I am right now having a JoJo's obsession. But yeah. Well, I hope you guys are having fun games and enjoying your games. I'm going to talk about what I am bringing tomorrow for the Lone Star Open. Actually, I wonder if the Lone Star, if I can already, I think they should already have its player pack too. Let's see. This is pretty similar to what I normally bring, to what I'm bringing. Okay, this is my old list where I had 2 spawns and a rhino. Or not a rhino, Chaos Land Raider. I like the Chaos Land Raider. I think the Chaos Land Raider has a lot of play. I just don't think that right now a Chaos Land Raider beats a Demon Prince. I just don't think he does. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. Let's see. Let's get this all set up for us. This is a fun game though. I just love seeing Great Unclean Ones. I don't ever want to play against them, but I do like seeing them. They are fun models. They're cool models. They just need to stay away from me. Please. Put a Rhino to 70 points. Man, the fact that the Rhino went down to 70 points is still a crazy thing to me. All right. Here we go. There we go. So, this is what I'm bringing tomorrow. I'm bringing priority assets. Don't worry about the secondaries. I don't have. This is basically the best things that this list can do is bring it down and assassination, because I have a lot of characters. This is what I'm bringing tomorrow. Got my first warlord is Lucius the Eternal. He is leading 6 flawless blades, which is a crazy blender unit at that point. But I also wanted to try. I like playing him with extra wounds, especially in coterie, because if, let's say, I want to, I have to take some mortal wounds on him. At least for him in that big brick, if it's maybe losing a couple wounds off of a flawless blade rather than losing wounds off his 6 wound model, I'm a big fan of that. I also have Pledge of Unholy Fortune on the Demon Prince with Wings, which I do find it hilarious that the point costs end up being the same both at 235 points because of the added addition for that. Oh, it's been a long week. I'm sleepy. Got 2 Lord Exultants attached with Infractors, of course. We've got 2 Tormentors to cause problems on the board. I'm still keeping a Chaos Spawn unit, but I'm replacing the other one with a Rhino. Simply for getting maybe both of them, maybe one, depending on how the matchup goes. But that's nice to be able to slot 2 of my Infractors in, scout them 6 inches into the middle, especially since my entire thing is just controlling the middle objective, right? And then we've got some Defiler right here with our course Heavy Bale Flamer, Heavy Reaper. There we go. Yeah, right. And the good old chest cannon. I'm trying out the Heavy Reaper because it's just got some more attacks, even though it's not as tough. I'm hoping on those dev roots, right? Because I will end up getting 6s sometimes on my las cannons and then just end up with somebody saving. And as fine as that is, it's still a little upsetting. Also, yes, I'm bringing a Mauler Fiend because they're 120 points, and I'm very surprised that I'm not seeing more Mauler Fiends show up in the lists that are coming out. I was just sent a sticker. Oh my god, that's a massive snake. That's crazy. My buddy on vacation just sent me a picture of a massive snake, and I'm terrified now. I'm shaking in my boots. My boots! No, but that is kind of what I'm bringing. My entire idea is, and then I have some Noise Marines that are just gonna, mess around. They might jump in the Rhino. They might stay on my home, depending on like what I need to do. But let's see if maybe we can see some of the lists going on for this event. Let's see if they'll let me look at the roster. There's 340 people that is going to be in this one. That is crazy. Okay, I can see the roster without. All right. So we've got there's a lot of really interesting matchups that I could potentially play against. I've got a lot of Emperor's Children, right? I wonder how many Emperor's Children players there are. I wonder if I can Google it. I can. Okay. So there are so many Emperor's Children. There's about 20 Emperor's Children players that are going to be there. That's super cool. I think do I know? I know Kenneth. I think I know Kenneth. I'm really bad at names sometimes, so I have to remember. Is that Kenneth? That might be Kenneth. That might be Kenneth, but that's cool. Hope he's doing good. Excited to see them tomorrow. But we've got all sorts. The U.S. Army esports team is also playing Emperor's Children. That's super fun. That is super fun. Oh, it didn't put my team name on there. Can I? Oh, I'll fix it later. That's fine. But yeah, we've got 20 Emperor's Children players. That's going to be a lot. That's super fun. How many Space Marine players are there? There's Aaron. Let's see. There's only 36. Interesting. So there's not as many Emperor's Children, or not as many Space Marine players as I expected. Let's see how we're doing on the Chaos. So we've got Chaos Knights, Chaos Demons. Only 30 Chaos. Interesting. So that's not very many CSM players. That makes sense after a lot of the recent nerfs to CSM, because a lot of their best stuff got hit. Let's see what else. Let's see how many orcs there are. Ben Urich from Art of War, 23. So interesting. So there are 3 more orc players, but Emperor's Children is, oh no, we're gonna get nerfed. Oh no, we're gonna get nerfed. fine. It's fine. I'm excited though. It seems like there's a lot of like there's Tau, there's Necrons, there's Death Guard, there's World Eaters, there's all sorts of stuff. Sororitas, Dark Angels, Tyranids. This is a really some. Oh, there's Cameron. I've met Cameron before, I think. Got some Eldar, Astra Militarum. Actually, I'm really curious on what this Astrum list is. Oh, I got excited to view the list. That's okay. What we will do. So we'll stop sharing that for a second so that I can log in. You guys don't need to see my passwords. There we go. Yeah. And I want you back. Okay, let's go back to down. Get some Eldar. Yeah, let's see what Brett's list is looking like. Nice. Breathe in, breathe out. I like that. That's so funny. Catachans. Nice. That's super fun. Ton of Catachans, Karsikins. That's a fun one. That's actually a not super common list that I haven't seen that, to be honest. So that's a fun one. I'd be excited to play against that. I'm like trying to think about like basically what I want to play against this weekend. Even though I am trying to do well this weekend, part of it is just I'm very excited to just play some new armies because I think in the last couple events I've played Blood Angels every single time. And I'm very excited to maybe hopefully not have to play Blood Angels again. Because I don't want to play Blood Angels again, because I just always play against a Blood Angels player. Not that there's anything wrong with Blood Angels. Just that I always play against them. It's just so many. So I'm excited to play maybe against. I don't want to play against Knights. Come on, give me a break. Play with some Orcs, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But that's okay. Anything. Let's see what Corey is bringing for when it comes to his Emperor's Children. So he's bringing Coterie as well. He's got 2 Lord Exultants, Demon Prince with wings. Oh, I've seen this list. He's got Fulgrim in this list. That's super fun. It's honestly a very similar list to mine, except he's got more rhinos than me. He's running the 2 Infractors. I mean, you've got to, right? He's only got 1 Demon Prince with wings, but he's got Fulgrim. And he's got Flawless Blades in that. That's the interesting thing. What is he doing with this? Oh, he's doing double Heavy Reapers. I thought about doing double Heavy Reapers, but I didn't because I thought the Flamethrower might be useful for an Overwatch threat because I've been playing around with the D6+3 Flamethrower, and I'm a very big fan of using it for Overwatch because it's like strength 7 or something. Like my girlfriend plays Harlequins, right? Emma plays Harlequins, and so I have to deal with a lot of like anti-vehicle, dev wounds, things like that. And normally her bikes are a brutal thing for my vehicles, and I have to spend that feel no pain on them. But I overwatched her bikes and picked them up, and I was like, "Ooh, -2 AP, 2 damage. Can't modify my hit roll because of the Flamethrower." Okay, all right, I like this. I like this a lot. So, especially with reroll 1s, because I think with snap shooting, you can still reroll your wound. You just can't reroll the hit roll. But I'm not sure. Let me find out for sure. Let's see what Eric is bringing for Emperor's Children. It's so much watching and looking at people who are also playing the same detachment, right? Because everyone's got a different list nowadays, it feels like. And I'm very excited to see, like, this is very different, right? Where he's got his Warlord as a cacophonist, right? A cacophonist with Pledge of Unholy Fortune leading some Noise Marines, which to me is a very interesting like combo. That's not what I normally see. honestly, I kind of it's a good one because right, he's still got a 2-up, 4-up. He's really strong as a cacophonist, and he's small too. So it's really hard to like end up putting him into a bad position. Oh my god, it seems like everybody's running like 3 chaos spawn. I feel like I'm a little on the everybody's running double Reaper auto cannons. Boy, it looks like he got on the Nahler Fiend playing too. Nice, nice, nice. This is interesting. It's like, did I mess something up now? As much as I like the 2 rhinos and the 3 chaos spawn, I'm also sitting there worried about like, well, I don't. What if you just can't punch with those spawn? Because I've also can't. I've done it where I'm like, I can't hit a single thing on those 4-ups. Um, that's interesting though. I like it. It's very fun. When I'm looking at these, I'm not trying to like diss anybody's list. I'm just trying to understand for my own context because I play a very different I play sort of similar to most of people, but I'm not like crazy, right? Like I don't play I'm not like a like I'm not this I don't play the same as everybody else, and it's exciting to see what everybody else plays. That's why I like to look at these lists because it's fun to see how other Emperor's Children people play, especially because I don't know everything about Emperor's Children. I'm always learning just as much as anybody else. This is a fun one. It seems like most people. Oh my god, 2 defilers is a lot of points. That's crazy. Yeah, it seems as though everybody's running the Heavy Reaper auto cannons. Maybe I made a mistake not playing for the Heavy Reaper auto cannons, but I like a flamethrower. I like a good flamethrower that doesn't worry about its hit roll. I'm already going to be rolling 4 attacks with -2, 2. So nothing super crazy. Here, oh, there's my boy Haris. Let's see what he's bringing. I can't wait to see him tomorrow. That'll be fun. Let's see what Haris is bringing. What do you tomorrow? He's got Cabal and Chaos and Spellhammer Siege Host. I think that's the Iron Warriors one. The Fellhammer one, I think it is. So I think that pretty sure that that one is that anything that's stronger has -1 to wound, which is strong. That and he's got Huron, he's got Masters, he's got his Chosen. Man, they got way more expensive, which is man. I can't wait to talk to him about this tomorrow because man, what a list! Oh my lord, that is cool. 1 Defiler Raiders, 2 Cultist Mob, a Chosen Brick, Masters of the Maelstrom attached, and then a Chaos Terminator squad. That's not a lot of units. That's crazy. That's a nuts. Warp gives, James takes away. That's so funny. I'm so excited to see everybody tomorrow. That's honestly the bigger thing that I'm really excited about is honestly just getting to see and hang out with everybody that I don't always get to see at some of the smaller events. So this will be very fun. Is there anything that you guys are interested in checking out? Any lists or anything? Oh, it looks like somebody's checked in. Well, I'm not there yet tomorrow, so I'm not gonna check in. I'm not checked in yet. Um, maybe I'll go down there today and check in. Oh my god, this is hilarious. Let's look at this. This is funny. Jesse Hicks, what are you doing, Step Primarch? Let's see what this list is. That's so funny. That's not the name of his list. That's his team name. I love that. That's so funny. Crushing and stomping. I'm like looking at Tyranid stuff going, yeah, I know everything that's going on with this. I know so much. What the heck is a biovore? What the heck is a biovore? It's me. I'm showing that I'm a LARPer. I understand. You can all abandon me. I get it. So we've got 3 Norn emissaries. That's cool. Oh god, big old monster mash list. That'll be a fun thing to play. I love the little baby 10 Hormagaunts. They'll hold their own. They'll do it. Oh, I pressed the wrong. Sorry, guys. Oh, we'll go back to this one. That's super fun. Trying to see if there's anything that like I'm surprised to see. Eldarian at Taken Hold is a very interesting disposition that I probably wouldn't have expected. It's probably pretty good. I have no idea. Armored Warhorse and Guardian. Okay. All right. This is not the elves I know because this is all the psychic elves and corsairs. Oh, three fire prisms. Telling you, fire prisms are scary. I love fire prisms. Oh, that'll be fun to see his 3 fire prisms tomorrow. There for 3 fire prisms tomorrow. I am excited for that. That's fun. We'll get some GT going for you guys while I keep talking about this. Because I'm sure that watching some people play some Warhammer is definitely a lot more interesting than just looking at lists. That'll give us this will be our Subway Surfer, right? To keep our ADHD attention in check. Actually, let's see what's going on in the Salt City GT. Look at all of those beautifully painted bikes. I love these like marble and like this terrain that people make for their bases. I still need to be better at green stuff. I really would like to do a lot more work with green stuff. I just don't because it's not something I'm spending the time on. I just haven't done it yet. But man, like whenever I see that and somebody's made like city steps or like somebody's made like a block that is just a part of their models, that's so cool. Oh, that's cool. I guess they're fighting for the Khorne Demonkin battle force. I kind of wish I had picked something like this up a while ago, just specifically because, like, oh my god, you get so many demons in that box. How many blood letters? Is that what they are? Blood letters? I don't know. I don't remember the name of anything. All I remember is Red Khorne Demon. Perfect. This is a very interesting matchup because, like, Custodes can obviously punch into a Great Unclean One, but it's like it's very much like fighting. It's the same kind of like toughness fight where it's like little models versus big models. I don't know. My brain hurts. Excuse me. Oh, but I love the way that they've painted these. These are so cool. Excuse me. Taken Hold versus Taken Hold. Oh, so how are you guys doing? How's everything been going for y'all's games? Anybody doing anything fun painting wise? No, that's fair. Me neither. Me neither. Dude. And I know. Dude. Look at that. Look at that table. Look at these. I love this that they've been doing. These cameras that they have on the side. They're like attached to these that they have here. I just think that's so cool. Look at all the people playing. I'm so excited to be doing that tomorrow. Oh, looks like some people are playing Lone Star Open. Talking about that. That's fun. All right. Sorry, guys. My brain is fried. I also have a little bit of a fire smoke detector that's not working right now going on in the background. So sometimes there's a little and it's like in my brain. Oh, so it looks like we'll do some commentating here. It looks like we're at the top of round 2. Maybe we're at the top of round 2, bottom of round 2. I don't know. Top of turn 3. There we go. Thank you, everybody. I'm like trying to figure this out. Top of turn 3. Obviously, it's Custodes' turn. And they're doing Taken Hold and Taken Hold. What is the missions? What are the missions for Taken Hold versus Taken Hold? Taken Hold. So right now what they're playing is they're playing Battlefield Dominance. So just end of the turn, you control more, and then 3 for every that you control, and then an extra 2 VP for each of those if you control your home. So kind of like a linchpin. That's a very interesting one. So it looks like trying to think of for Plague Legion, it doesn't look like the Nurgle player has. I don't know if they have anything else besides their monsters left on the board. Is he dodging the beast's reactive move? Interesting. So it looks like we've got some. I was like, can I do any markups on this? No, I can't do any markups, unfortunately. But so it looks like he's got a couple of guys down here. I'm trying to see. He's got a like a beast of Nurgle, looks like up here as well. But the Custody player is wearing this Nurgle player pretty thin. They've got Terminators over there. They've got a Great Unclean One, Great Unclean One, Great Unclean One. So as long as he's able to, or as they're able to hold on to these Great Unclean Ones, but it's a tough one because the only way that they're going to get to score more is if these survive. Because he's got toes on here, he's got toes on here, he's got toes on here. That Beast of Nurgle, if I love the little what is his name? Festus or whatever. Epidemus, I think, is the model now, but it's like the Festus look. Looks like he's got some plagues in his zone, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to keep him around. Because that's the thing, is I also don't see any wounds on the actual Great Unclean One. So right now they are having to play a game of, well, how much can we do damage wise? Because if they can't do enough damage wise, then like there's no way that they can be able to take out those Great Unclean Ones. But also at the same time, I wonder how many wounds each one has left, because I just don't see any wound markers right now that I see. But it's very fun, very enjoyable. Oh, look at these beautiful Aris Terminators. I love this shield captain that they've done. I think it's a shield captain. It looks like a shield captain because he's got the extra cape on the top, right? Or maybe it's another shield captain, but he looks like he's got a fancier cape than the rest of them, which makes me think he's a shield captain. Oh. Sorry, it's been kind of a little bit of a slow stream today, guys. My energy is just not super high. I'm really got my mind thinking about this GT tomorrow. Welcome, everybody. So I'm kind of just looking over this game for the Salt Lake City GT. This has been a really fun one to watch at the very end of it, because we're in the top of round 3, right? We've got Terminators moving around. He's really got these 3 Great Unclean Ones that he's got to keep alive. But it also doesn't look like, it looks like this one's been taking some wounds. Maybe this one's also been taking some wounds, but this one's just chilling. So if they can keep this one alive over here where there's these Terminators, then he's going to be just peachy keen. It's going to be just peachy keen, everybody. But yeah, that's been a fun one. I'm really excited to go and do this tomorrow with everybody. We've been going over some of the lists from tomorrow that I'm going to be playing against. We can keep doing some of that. We can keep watching this GT together, or we can move on to something else if there's anything else that you guys are wanting to talk about, wanting to look over. This has been a pretty chill week, Friday for me exactly. What are you most excited for the GT this weekend? Probably mostly just getting to see everybody, in all honesty. That's the one thing that I always forget to enjoy about some of the GTs, is the fact that it's really just an excuse for us all to get together and hang out, even though we're paying a bunch of money to go and hang out with each other. Like it's one of those things where you get to see so many people and you really get to feel the community when you go to one of these tournaments. And so that's probably the thing I'm most excited about, is really getting to kind of, hang out with people like-minded who want to talk about Warhammer and play Warhammer and, have fun hanging out. Especially because, again, this is just so much fun to do It's why it's so much fun to watch these, right? And to watch this GT, even if it's like I have no real idea about what's going on, like besides just watching it. But it's just so fun to see even just some of the chats that are over here and just feel the community all working together and or not even just working together, but just enjoying the space and the hobby is just so much fun. I'm a big fan of it. Um, and as I see people start joining in, the more people we get joining in, the end we'll get a Trays in the Infinite dramatic read. So keep joining in. We've got about I'll give it about 30 more minutes and oh everybody left. Nobody wants to hear it. That's fine. I'm just kidding. But if we do that, if people get up there, I'll do it. I'm gonna do it either way. Don't worry. Just hang out in like 30 minutes and I'll do a Trays and dramatic reading. It'll be fun. It'll be funny. Um Oh man, we missed some stuff. Oh no, Emma, you're asking too many questions. I need to shut up and do my job of commentating. No, I'm just kidding. It looks like some of the bikes have charged this great and clean one down here. Oh, it's getting crazy. So he's got wounds on that one. But yeah, that's what I'm most excited about. Um, I think if there is a faction that I'm most excited to face, I would say I don't know, actually. There's a part of me that wants to play something familiar, but there's also a part of me that doesn't, right? Where I want to play some into how some of the new armies are playing. I don't want to play into orcs. I really don't want to play into orcs. I think I could still do it, but I'm prepared to getting my butt kicked if I go into orcs. Just because orcs are so strong and they're fast. They're very fast. Um, but I think if I was like wanting to play into, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe another chaos faction. I don't know. Maybe Space Marines. I don't know. I don't know. Probably elves. I like playing against elves, especially since all my stuff hits on a 3 with elves. So I'm a big fan of fighting elves, even if elves have a lot of like tricksy stuff and movement tricks. I am excited if I get to fight some elves because if I fight some elves, I can be like, all right, come on, dice rolls, probability be on my side, please. But you never know. Hopefully, I'll be able to take some pictures of some of my games and do that. Have you gotten to play against the Ynnari list yet? I actually have not. I have not. I never really got. I wasn't playing too much tournament when Ynnari was at the peak of 10th edition, right? Or their peak in 10th edition. So I unfortunately never ran into a Ynnari list. I'm not excited to because I've also ran into a guard list where it was combined arms where they get lethals against everything. And I went, man, I've never seen so many 6s to hit in my life. To where I just went, all right, cool. My wound means nothing, nothing at all. So I would be excited about that, but I am not excited about a mass. But you know what? Actually, a list that I see quite a bit on these that I haven't gotten to play in a long time is I would be very interested to how I play into a Dark Angels list. Because a couple of my buddies used to play a lot of Dark Angels, and I haven't gotten to play into Dark Angels in a fat minute. And one of the things that I find very strong about Emperor's Children is the ability to keep that front line from moving anywhere forward. Just because you have to get through so much stuff and then overexpose yourself. So I wonder, especially with some of the new rules and some of the new shooting rules, how Dark Angels plays, especially as a castle army that doesn't really move very fast, but you don't super need to if you have the toughness, you know? Like the funny thing is that these great unclean ones have not moved basically at all for looks like at least a turn, right? And they don't have to because they're just sitting there going, all right, we're just going to keep fighting. Just going to keep fighting until you can kill me. So I think that one would be fun. I think the biggest thing is that I've played the same kind of factions in the last one just because those are what's popular. So maybe playing a CSM list could be cool because I don't normally play too many CSM lists. Though if I play against Aris, I will get my butt kicked. I will get my butt kicked because he's real good. He's a real good opponent. Uh, I do love some of the comments on here. Somebody was like, "Board Game Live, is there anybody else want to go up against the Defiler?" I've gone up against multiple Defilers before, or not. I guess not a multiple Defiler list, but there's not too many of those right now. I went up against the World Eaters Defiler, which was not a problem. That thing is very overcosted for what it is. And then I just recently went up against Thorn's Thousand Sons Defiler. And as much as I will say that they massacred the Thousand Sons Defiler, thank God that Feel No Pain is gone. The only thing they really needed to change was the Feel No Pain. And maybe give it, instead of a 4-up Overwatch, just let it Overwatch for free instead. That's personally what I would have done. I don't think that the Overwatch on that Defiler was too crazy, except for like when it had the 4s. But now that it has free interrupt, you're like, why would I? This is stupid, dumb. But no, the funny thing is I personally don't ever, I never thought that the Defilers were really that big of a deal. Like the 250 point Defiler in 3 of them, that was a bit, that was a lot, right? But like once it hit that 290 cap for most factions, the Defiler is considered a vehicle. It's a walker vehicle, so it can heroically intervene. It can do the things that like Dreadnoughts can do. It's kind of similar in that case. Like Mauler Fiends and Defilers have the same keywords of walker, I believe. Before I lie about it, let me double check to make sure that it has walker before I lie about that. Profiles. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, it's got walker. Yeah, cool. It has the ability scuttling walker, so I would have been surprised. Yeah, well, some of these vehicles like have Feel No Pains, right? It depends on like which faction you're playing, but it was insane on the fact that it was like all 3 of them, and then the Thousand Sons Defiler randomly got a Feel No Pain 6-up, just randomly. Like it was a very, it feels like very much somebody at that design team really said, hey, we have to make the Thousand Sons one better, even though we Overwatch on 4s. Yeah, it's a very silly, goofy. It's funny because I have a friend who has a theory, and this is a legend. This is not. I don't know this. I don't have any source. I don't have any proof. This is a legend that potentially there is a guy who writes the rules and also plays as Thousand Sons at tournaments, which to me is a little bit of a conflict of interest. But it also makes sense when then you see the Thousand Sons rules and you're like, this is significantly better for certain things, right? I will say, if you go read the Thousand Sons Combat Patrol and you go read the Thousand Sons Combat Patrol, it's the most, what kind of like rules ever. It's pretty funny. They knew the EC Defiler head was the best design. Exactly. You know, we're just the coolest. So we had to get some. No, it's okay. We're both biased. You and I are both biased. I think the EC one is great. But I also understand where like there's a lot of people who think the EC one is a little broken. And I don't blame them for that. I understand the feeling of it, especially on paper when it. Oh man, we missed something. They killed the Great Unclean One. Oh, it's over. Oh, it's over. Oh, it's over. All right, this Salt Lake GT game is over. Over. Stop calling me. He just picked up 2 Great Unclean Ones. It's all ogre for this guy. That was the thing, is if he couldn't keep these Great Unclean Ones alive, then he was done. He's got 1 Great Unclean One. It's all about holding more objectives. Game's over. Game is over. The Battle of Mats is done. Wow. This is one thing I do say is crazy, right? Is that there are some of these missions that are very cut and dry by like turn 2 or turn 3, right? Where it's like, he's got more units and they're tougher. He's gotta basically kill like he's gotta kill a unit per he's gotta kill at least 2 units per activation. It's yeah, like at this point, it's a done game. That was really cool. That's very interesting. I do think it's funny that somebody in the comments also was like, "Battle Shock mechanic is cool, models are cool, games drag slash it's super rough." It is a rough because we just don't know, like hidden rules and things like that aren't correct at times. But also, I don't know what you're talking about with slow games. I mean, this game is over by top of turn 3. It's over. This game is over. There's nothing that the Nurgle player can do. The game is over. Man, what a crazy turn to get all of those. That was a nutty fight phase. He got all of them. He got 2 of those great unclean ones in a one turn. That's very impressive. Yep, and he's got 2 CP. He's used all of his CP. Yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing. It's all over now. That's crazy though. But yeah, I think the thing that's really interesting about 11th edition and another thing I'm really excited for tomorrow is one, the game is getting better as we go on and as we play, right? Like the game is getting better. It's getting more polished. We're figuring it out. We're getting better at, understanding what's happening and what's going on, you know, the little camera thing. But also at the same time, like one of the greatest things about this community is the fact that we can make this game super fun even when there's a ton of problems with things like hidden or benefit of cover, you know, and we can still have a lot of really fun games that end up having a great effect on the community where we can watch something like this and be like, man, Nurgle Demons doing the great unclean one spam, and it did not work, unfortunately. But you can tell that those guys are having a great time. They're chilling. It just comes down to the dices and everything like that. So I'm excited to definitely hear people's opinions about 11th because I know right now 11th edition is very polarizing. It's very polarizing. I like it a lot. I will say I don't like the way it's being handled, but I like the game. So I'm excited to go play more of it. I will say I think that there's definitely some things that need to be worked on when it comes to like some of the ways that the missions are balanced, right? Like there are definitely some where the territory could be a little bit more clear on the maps, right? I don't think territory is a massive problem, but I do think that like adding plunder, right? I've had people in games where, right, I will tell them and be like, hey, all right, cool, you've got plunder sick, and they're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna do the action. I'm like, you can't do the action in your zone, and they're like, oh, right, territory, that's new and weird and kind of glazed over a little bit. But nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Oh, wow, what a game. That's crazy. I can't believe it's over by this point, but it is. Taking hold and Nurgle couldn't do it. Custodies, are they coming back? I think Custodies are coming back. I remember people talking about how Custodies are in a rough zone. I don't think Custodies were in too bad of a zone. I just think that they had a really hard problem with the fact that the boards were so open, right? When it came to certain objective markers where it's like you had kind of a couple corners that you can hide on. I'm a big fan of the fact that like objective markers are terrain. You can hide behind them. Like it just feels so much better as a mechanic to have objective markers be terrain, since like things like that where you have units that can hide behind a wall and still doing scoring and stuff like that. So they'll definitely have a couple of minutes before their next round. I don't know. I think they're going to keep playing it. So if they want to play it through, that's fine. We can just keep watching that for a little bit. But we are getting closer and closer in time to my dramatic reading of the Trazen of the Infinite. So Oh, I might need to paint my training model soon. Oh, sorry guys, I need to paint up my tracing model soon. Oh, I got some more work done for this Mahler video, which is going to be really funny. But the nice thing is that with tomorrow, I'll have some time to even get more practice on it and see half of the things that works on it. But we're getting there. Oh, it wasn't live. There we go. Silly. Anyways, moving on from that. Um, this is the thing that I find very interesting about some of the missions is there's definitely some that I find being kind of better than others, right? So like if you look at like Destroyer's Wrath versus Priority Asset, right? This is one that I played um this is one that I played against the Priority Assets player, right, who was playing Zinj Demons. And this was like this was kind of nutty how like my mission was laid out, where it was just kill stuff, hold more objectives, and do all that, right? Versus what his was for that one, which was you have to do actions every single turn on an objective, right? And hold on. Is that what he was playing? No, he's playing Vanguard Operation. That's what it was. I was like, that was the thing. No, what were we doing? I can't remember what we were doing. Is he playing Reconnaissance? Now I don't even remember what we were playing at that point. Was it Disrupt? Was it Punishment? What was he playing? Now I don't remember what he was playing. It wasn't. I don't remember now. Now I'm having a massive just mind blank of like, what did I play? Because I remember there was one. Because basically, I think he had Disruption then. Because it was basically just whatever he had to do, he had to be in the middle. Right. Maybe he was playing a Take and Hold. I can't remember. Oh my god, why is my brain just not working today? It's like, no, it wasn't this one. Man. We'll put I brain dead and can't think about what happened and what the plan was. I don't remember. I don't remember at all. Oh, look it up. Yeah, I'm really excited for tomorrow. My brain is just a little fried from getting all my thinking done and trying to like be ready for everything tomorrow. I also still have to paint up my flamethrower and my auto cannon today, which it shouldn't take me too long. Prime it, throw some grays and some silvers and some greens on there. I did get a little bit more work done on my Lord. I have been cruising along getting this guy done. Let's see if we can get it to focus a little bit on him. So this little gun part here, right where the little bolter is, I'm going to paint that like a pastel-y pink. But oh, it's so bright you can't even read the guitar. That's crazy, actually. So the guitar is like a bright green with blue flames. You can kind of see it from the side, but I wanted it to kind of seem like, right, that these like hands that are coming up are almost like concert goers. God, this is maybe if I up the brightness a little bit, it'll be better. Yes. Oh God. Wait, what if we do the makeup thing? Yeah, that's how you do it, sort of. Not great, but close. But yeah. He's super fun. I'm probably not gonna bring him tomorrow because he still needs a lot of work. But God, if I don't understand why they don't release this Mohawk head in general for EC. I think that that's a crazy decision that they've made. Oh, so when I play in the narrative or next or not next year, in November of this year, I have a plan to basically ascend him during the campaign. I don't think this is gonna this is an on foot demon prince, so it's not gonna be this guy because I like the winged one better. But like, oh man, I gotta turn the brightness down now. But if you see where the mohawk is, it's not. That's fine. Like, focus. Stop focusing on my face. There we go. He's so sick. I like the on foot demon prince. I just think it's just the thing of like the way that the EC on winged one works is just it's so nice. It's so nice. It's so nice. Um looks like they're still just champing on the game. I will say, I don't know Matthew Mills at all. The name is kind of familiar in the scene, but I will say kudos to this guy for playing out the rest of the rounds. Especially, I mean, he's got to, right? Because the stream, of course, but at the same time, like he doesn't have to do this. You know, he's got like 3 models left, pretty much, and he's not doing well. But what a champion for playing this out. Like what a sport for getting through the game. You know what I mean? I still don't get how a Harlequin Mohawk works so well on a Demon Prince. I don't either. That was one of the best like bit gifts I've gotten, and like I've gotten a lot of great bit gifts, but that was one that I was like, I can't believe that that worked so well. Uh, so now I'm kind of working on some others. My brain's fried. Part of me honestly just wants to throw on some Halo if we want to just play some Halo and you guys can watch me play some Halo. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean I could toss in some Halo and talk about stuff if we want to, but what I did promise was I promised a dramatic reading of Trays in the Infinite, and it is 11:30. And I did say at 11:30 that I would, regardless of how many people were in the chat or not. So that's so bright. Oh my lord. It's like I've been blinded. So while you guys get to watch your Coco Melon, we'll do a dramatic reading from this new passage of Wicked and the Warped by Robert Rath. Watch me just stutter through this. Okay. All right. Everybody left the minute I started doing this. It's okay. Are you ready? Are we ready for the dramatic reading? All right. Now I gotta, oh, God. Oh, it's time to make myself a fool for art. You ready? All right, good. Somebody's ready. This is The Wicked and the Warped. You know how they do the thing where they overpronunciate the book title? This is The Wicked and the Warped by Robert Rath. See? Audible. Hire me. I don't know if that's how you do stuff. Trazyn, Overlord of Solomons. Also, there's going to be names in this freaking reading that I'm not going to get right, so I apologize for all the Necron fans in advance. Archivist of the Prismatic Galleries, and he who is called Infinite, stepped into the chamber. His passage disturbed the finger-deep layer of ochre dust lying on the floor. It billowed at his footsteps, sparkling in kaleidoscopic bands of color as it floated down the shaft of light from the door. This place had not been intended to be a tomb, but that had been the result. Okay, stop calling me if you know who you are and you're calling me. Stop calling me If you're not gonna leave a voicemail, I apologize for the dramatic reading. Stop calling me. If you're not gonna leave a voicemail, it's so rude. Sorry, guys. Turn my ringer off. But that had been the results for the unfortunates sealed within. The skeletal bodies crawled across the floor, away from the gateway, fingers sunk into the stone in their attempt to flee. Some flattened themselves against walls, arms held up to shield their ocular inputs. And in front of the gateway, half a dozen reached up towards the disc installed in the portal, their hands extended as they fell to their knees, like pilgrims overwhelmed in the presence of a holy relic. Trazen's sensor suite picked up the signal reverberating through the gate, dust trickling from the seams. He opened an audio package and ran a pattern matching scry. I don't know why that was hard for me to read. The two waveform graphs in his vision harmonizing in their serpentine motion and merging into one. Oh God, now I gotta do the Trazen voice. You did not meet your ends in vain, colleagues, said Trazen, addressing the dead. Your summons was heard. See, I can't do a robot voice, but I think that's pretty good. Behind him and outside, something roared from an impossible throat. My majestic lord. I don't know how Lichguard sounded. Do they have brains still? I don't know. The Lichguard captain said. This unworthy one suggests we extract. I believe we have been discovered. Yes, I believe we have been, Trazen responded. Or we have been? Or what? Around Trazen, the chamber began to shake. No ring of footfalls, but a deep rumble like a massive aircraft passing close overhead. See, I kind of accidentally did what I wanted to do the Trazen voice for the narrator voice. Never mind, he said. I shall return soon. Trazen reached out and plucked the disc from the grasping hands of the dead, cackling through their carbonized fingers so that the digits crumbled at the joints and rained down at his feet, judder and jump with the shaking of the chamber. Then he ran up the stairs to the antechamber to the doorway, and at his at the signal, the Lichguard acquisition phalanx ran as well. He exploded out of the tomb, metal feet pounding the flagstones as he sprinted through the doorway and its ring of teeth. Beneath him, down the long staircase, he could see his Lichguard already fanning out in a skirmish pattern, rushing towards the rendezvous point as dead gods. Trazen slowed his chronosense to take in the cresting tide of empiric hostiles heading towards the phalanx. They manifested out of the rolling bank of fog as they came forward. Gauzy haze twisting into limbs and tongues. Rubbery bodies barreling into reality at a run. Eyes became fanged mouths, became reaching fingers, became wings, became sniffing tubular sense organs beyond description. They weaved through the antler forest groves and leapt over boulder beds of incisors and molars, somersaulted and clawed through fields of waving insect antennae sprouting from the ground like wild grain. Scaled bones spurred the size of messes, then dropped unheeding over cliffs to shatter and reconstitute themselves upon landing. They did not come in fish school streams and synaptic groupings like a tyrannic swarm, nor did their onslaught resemble the charging hordes of the orcs or even the endless waves of attack that humanity was so fond. It was, he risked the pun, more chaotic than that. I'm already going to enjoy this. They came from the air, appearing and disappearing like coins in the hands of a court magician. And like a magician, it seemed that anywhere Trazen wasn't looking was where the trick took place. Yet if it were a trick, Trazen didn't believe it was for his benefit. This was not coordinated or practiced like a sleight of hand. He saw one group of the blue apparitions solidify on the run, only to have a second group pop into existence inside them, fusing the mobs together into monstrous forms like a bad translocation accident. a group of floating tubules bathed in a conjoined organism in etheric fire in order to clear their path. Despite this lack of order, the lead members of the riotous mob overran the glyph in Trajan's vision, indicating the rendezvous point. Even a basic divinatory scry, one based solely on the visual patterns, suggested they need to weave through the initial ranks of the enemy to reach it before being swamped. Trajan's strategic submind, so often ignored as he pursued new acquisitions, bled alerts across his gaze with a series of predictive routes. As his standard running speed, factoring in hazards and enemy action, there was only a 6-second window for him to make the extraction point and the night scythe. He tore down the stairs, taking them in leaps and bounds, calibrating and recalibrating each jump on the fly so he didn't overbalance and tumble to the bottom head first. It was undignified, to be sure, and he was glad the Lich Guard were running ahead so that they didn't notice him pinwheeling his arms to keep balance. Collision alerts flared just in time for him to react to the group of stretched azure things coalescing on the stairway to stop him. Fingers reached out, close enough that he could see dirt under the yellow nails. Trajan changed his trajectory, spinning to the side with a final leap that landed his back on the wide railing stones that bracketed the stairs. He went down it like a slide, his metal body screeching with the friction of his descent, showering the enraged oars with sparks as he passed. So it's just Trajan the Infinite going, whee, down a freaking staircase. That's hilarious. The dismount was less than elegant. The curving Mansory catapult, I can't believe I couldn't, he's going down the cop slide. I can't believe I can't say masonry. The curving masonry catapulting him into space at the end of the stairs so that he landed in a hard roll, kicking up a cloud of dust before he rose and set off at what, despite his metal body, could only be termed a sprint. Divinatory paths splayed across his vision like knots of cable, stuttering, disappearing, and reappearing as new empiric beings came into reality. The backs of his Lich Guard drew closer as his hot running systems began to overtake them. They were fighting as they ran. One bashed an embling sphere of flesh aside with a dispersion shield, scattering its broken teeth. Another rammed its scythe through an oncoming avian thing, then tore the blade upward to bisect its top half. A chronometric appeared in his peripherals. 12 seconds to rendezvous. Trajan laughed aloud, his joy booming out uncontrolled. He was gonna get there. Despite an entire continent descending upon them, the whole party was gonna get away. Sorry. He savored the deliciousness of the triumph, the thrill of it, the audacity. How alive he felt with his feet pounding the crust of a strange planet and a priceless relic in his. The airborne thing hit Trajan from the side, blinding and enveloping him as though it were a fisherman's net. A net with teeth that ground into his right hip actuator while also scraping his left shoulder blade. Its membraneous interior filled his vision, the light filtering through it, highlighting the networks of blood vessels. His right arm was lost somewhere in the diaphanous interior of a digestive system that, to even Trajan's imperfect biological knowledge, appeared functionally dubious. Trajan had found that his extraordinary experiences often unlocked extraordinary observations, the sort of philosophical and practical perspective one would not have until, for example, one was half swallowed by a medium-sized emanation of the entity colloquially known as Tzeentch. And on this occasion, his first observation was that it was interesting how its anatomy appeared to be shifting between avian and the aquatic. A fascinating contradiction. He archived this line of reasoning to peruse later because he had just made a second observation that the rendezvous point was getting further away and further below him. He'd been lifted clear of the ground, his nerveless feet pedaling in the air. Chronometric, 10.5 seconds. No time to free himself. No time to stream his consciousness to one lift guard. An operation that was always complicated by distance and heavy empiric disturbance. He might lose some of himself, drop a code chain, or forfeit several centuries of memory or a critical skill. It had happened before. He had once been so very good at playing the game Phaon's Peril with its multiple decks of playing tiles, but after a bad consciousness transfer, he'd completely forgotten both rules and strategy. Me, whenever I have to go to a GT. He cataloged and ranked options as digestive webs started melting his death mask. Chronometric, 9 seconds. He needed an anchor, a technical object for his algorithm to adhere to. For while being lifted in the air was disadvantageous for running, it made certain things much easier. Then he remembered the disc in his left hand. Trazen's sensor suite plotted a parabolic arc. Then he drew the artifact like a discus and let it fly. It soared true, the intricate etching on its surface spinning into a blur as Trazen's engrams attached to its circuitry and rode it on its path towards the horde of fleshy grasping abominations and the running silver and blue figure among them. His algorithm leapt from the disc ahead of its flight path and speared into the body of the running Lich Guard. Trazen made the changes as quickly as he could, usurping motor control and overriding neurals with such speed that when he leapt into the air, the arms were still elongating and his hood folding up into layers with a ching, ching, ching as the artifact disc connected with his palm. He came down wholly himself, laughing at the brief glimpse he'd caught of his old legs, still dangling out of the flying beast's maw as it sailed away. There had been no time to turn off protocols and let the body reformat into a Lich Guard. In fact, better to let it serve as a decoy. Chronometric, 6.9 seconds. Trazen boomed out laughter as he ran forward, hewing into a pack of manifestation which the Lich Guard's scythe. He bisected two into a wide arc, shoving another back with the haft, and sprinted through the gap in their line, ectoplasm bleeding off the polearm's blade. There was no point summoning the we could just turn that off. There was no point summoning his empathetic obliterator, but he had 6 seconds now. But he had 6 seconds now. The fleshing monstrosities were drawing towards him like iron filings towards a magnet. Slavering tongues speaking ruins of flame that branded the air, and his hands festooned with gold bangles and crooked daggers. Trazen crooked his arm back, aiming for the distant Lich Guard 20 cubits ahead. Made his calculations as the horrors gathered in a screen, arms reaching towards the intended flight path. Actual screens in the novels now. Screens are part of the game. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. His arm shot forward and a multitude of open mouths screamed in rage as they leapt, for there was no disc spinning in the air. It had been a fake. An instant before, he ditched the disc sideways, spinning like a coin so that another Lich Guard caught it on the run as it overtook the body that was now being pawed over with soft fingers and stabbed with sharp daggers. Chronometric, 4.7 seconds. Trazen ran, formatting the new body as he went. A shambling avian thing came at him from the right, its beak opening to extend a tongue like a lamprey eel, but he lunged out as if intended to dodge around it, spun instead and ran around its other side as the thing's 3 legs tangled and tripped it. Trajan surged, pumping his actuators so fast they glowed. The rendezvous point lay ahead in his unenhanced vision, painting a manic green to show the translation zone. On the horizon, he caught a flash of aurora reflecting off metal. Chronometric, 2.3 seconds. He wasn't going to arrive on time, not with a garden of empiric beings blooming into existence between him and the zone. They appeared every several cubits with a visual distortion like the shimmering of a heat haze, and sparks dancing upward as if released from a cracked fire log. Absently, his olfactory sensors detected a hint of ancient spices. No, he would not make it, or at least this body wouldn't, which is unfortunate for the Lich Guard, but very fortunate for one 50 cubit distance running on the intercept path he'd ordered straight for the lifting zone. Trazen leapt above an oncoming manifestation and slammed the disc out, giving its spin more force than he thought necessary. Chronometric, 1.1 seconds. He rode it as he, oh my God, he's riding the disc. He rode it across as it soared through the space, skimmering over a forest of reaching fingers and slashing clear through a thicket of anemone feelers, lofting on etheric winds that buffeted it above the snapping beaks and twisting horn tips, straight towards the space just above and beyond the final Lich Guard, who planted one foot on the shoulder of a charging warp thing for leverage and dived into the air, Necrodermis arms stretching to make up the distance as a host of claws and tentacles screeched along his legs, bleeding his momentum. Trazen had entered the Lich Guard with the clang of the disc meeting his magnetized fingertips as he fell into a pile of rubbery bodies and claws, just one arm's length short of the zone. Chronometric, 0.9 seconds, and he had barely missed it. Claws hooked under the armor panels of his cranium and pulled with a groan of strained metal. Feelers bristling with bone needles squirmed through gapes in the casing, puncturing rubbery internal tubes as they quested for his neural spools. Half a dozen wet mouths leaned close to his skull to fill his auditory inputs with whispers of blasphemous things. Antediluvian runes from a half-forgotten language unfolded in Trajan's vision, twisting and deforming like a torture victim under the knife. Trajan opened his mandible, releasing an emerald twist of radioactive core flux, followed by a strangled chuckle. Because just as they'd opened him from hips to cranium, his fingers had released the disc with its last flick of strength. It rolled forward like a coin on edge, wobbling to and fro with ever-increasing instability towards the painted area. Chronometric, 0.4 seconds, 0.3 seconds. No, it tipped to one side, rolling in a wider circle before 0.2 seconds, losing momentum, rattling in a circle, and 0.1 second, stopping on edge by the slimmest margin within the target area. Trazen was still laughing when the prismatic column flashed down like a blink of lightning, snatching the disc upward through a particle stream and into the unslung portal of the passing night scythe. His laugh continued even as the horde of demons pulled his body apart, because now he laughed with the mouth of the scythe pilot, safely ensconced within the control cradle of the aircraft as he banked around the immaterial mass, raising one hand in a mocking farewell. And with his leisurely circle complete, he set his palm to the glowing surface of the control orb and flashed into the black of space. That was a very fun little read. Oh, man, I've always liked Robert Rath's writing, but that is good stuff. I liked that. That was fun. I'm so intrigued on what this artifact is, and I guess he's dealing with Tzeentch. I didn't read the first one. I still need to read the first one, so I'm sure that I don't know if Tzeentch showed up in the first one at all, but if they didn't, that's really exciting. It'll be fun to see some Necrons fighting some Tzeentch, and I will say I consider that basically a loss, pretty close. Well, that's the thing, is that it's so the writing of this one is actually from one of their authors, Robert Rath. So this isn't like the community articles that they were putting out during Grotmas, where it wasn't like Black Library authors, right? It was just it was people who were just part of the article team. That's why the quality of those was a lot lower. But that was very good. I liked it. I'm excited. Robert Rath is also just a fantastic author in general. So I was already excited when they announced that they were going to do a sequel. In all honesty, I was surprised that it actually took this long for them to announce a sequel. Um, yeah, the Necron books like are really good from what I've heard. I still just need to read them. That's my biggest problem. I mean, I have copies of Trazyn in the Infinite, or the Trazyn the Infinite, Infinite the Divine, or whatever. I just haven't sat down and read it, unfortunately. Just haven't sat down and read it yet. But that's okay. I'll get there at one point. Oh, that was fun though. How'd you guys like that? Good reading? Should they hire me at this point to do all their reading, writing? Probably not, but we're working on it. Um, but yeah. Are you guys excited for the new Necron book? I'm excited for it. I'm really intrigued to see if it actually pushes some of the lore forward. And especially since they are doing a new Trazyn book, there was the rumor that was talked about them doing a new Trazyn model, and we never saw that. So I also wonder if this book is going to be, it's going to be basically the thing that brings out the new Trazyn model. Here's my other question: what's going on with Solomon? Why is Solomon not getting a model? Which is confusing to me. I don't know why he's not getting a model. You know? I don't understand it. Ah. Tasty. Do you guys remember that? Sorry, I just had a big old mind blank and we had a big old load. Do you guys remember the Solomon Akura model that they were supposedly had, but they never released? Do you guys remember this? So they had that pale spear image back during a what's it called? Can't think. During one of their books thingies. But have you guys seen this? So Solomon Akura is a character, Chaos. He is one of the main leaders of Alpha Legion stuff going on. I don't know too much about him because I haven't read that. But speaking of getting new models, this to me is the funniest little excerpt from that, because this is a Reddit post that had found this excerpt, because in the new Ghost Legion book that came out about a year ago, this had only been I can't talk today. This had only been included in basically the special deluxe edition. I don't know if you guys can read this super well. It looks a little blurry. I'm gonna try and zoom in some more so you can see it. It's not working super great. But basically, there had been a rumor image. That's what the word is, rumor image. There had been a rumor image talking about this spear, right? Which everyone saw based off the cover of the other books. They're like, it's the pale spear. It's the spear that their Primarch carried. What's going on with that? That was about a year ago. And then if you look here, if you can read it, that's a little bit better. Even better, the newly visible Solomon has been immortalized as an absolutely stunning miniature. I'd love to say that the model inspired the novel, but the novel was written before I'd ever seen it. I have, however, seen the miniature before writing this forward, and isn't he beautiful? The demonic arm, the pale spear. It's such an honor to have another one of my creations turned into a model. And then they never put it out. They never put the model out. Which to me is one of the craziest. Like, this is why when I talk smack about GW and be like, guys, I also then gotta remember that they do stuff like this where they absolutely let this dude write a forward that includes all of this, put it out, and then go, by the way, we're not putting out that model. And now this guy is sitting there going, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Is it Venom? It's something like that. Because I don't, it's, no, Venom crawlers are in that book. I'm sorry. I had a terminology brain fart where I was like, is there a Venom crawler in the Fulgrim book? And there is. There is. At the very beginning, there's a Venom crawler and there's Havocs as well, where you're like, what? Why is there Havocs? Why do they put Havocs in this book when we don't have Havocs? It's the funny thing about GW is that they're $1 billion company, but they don't talk to each other inside that building, which is fine, I guess. I mean, I guess I don't super care. I mean, as long as life doesn't suck for us, I don't know. But I do find that it's very funny that they do stuff like that where they're like, by the way, by the way, um, we did make that. Yeah, it's well, they're a $1 billion company, but they don't say that. They don't want you to know that they're a $1 billion company. They want you to still think of them as the tiny little guys in England who are making miniatures for us when they're making $1 billion and they need to give it to all of us. No, I'm just kidding. No, they just need to tell us what's going on. It's funny though. I do find that hilarious that they let that come out and then they were like, by the way, not going to release him yet. So when he comes out, I'm super excited for him. I think he's going to be a cool looking miniature. But it might be something where I wonder if he was planned with a wider release, right? Because we did get the Iron Warriors leader character from what's his name? What is his name? I'm having just a blank about names today. Um, you know what I'm talking about. Last I know his Hammer. Last Argument. Kravik Moore. That's his name. There we go. I was like, took me a second. Um, like Kravik Moore, right? Could have been part of a bigger release that they end up kind of putting into the Iron Warriors category when they might have had a plan of being like, all right, we are going to release this Alpha Legion character, this Iron Warriors character, these Red Corsairs characters, and then it also include like a Night Lord character, a Word Bearers character, because a lot of those books were coming out like around the similar time in which they had like the Heresy Word Bearer book that came out, which I understood why there was a couple people who were like, is this a 40K book? Because it is coming out around all the times that like the character books are coming out. So I wonder if they were just like, Solomon Akura, the miniature is real. It's out there, right? It's just been shelved for a release date because they're like, well, we want to do what we did for the Space Marines, where we had like a 3-month period in which they said, okay, Imperial Fists, Salamanders, White Scars, you're getting a character in a detachment. And they'll probably do something similar in 11th edition for Chaos, where they're like, hey, here's all your leader characters, and maybe they'll come with a 1 DP detachment per release. I think that would be a really fun way of releasing them. It just does suck because I personally think that like Solomon Akura, even though I don't know much about the character themselves, I am like, I love the design of this character. I think that this character has been designed phenomenally and is made him reading this book. So like I need to go and understand this book to understand it, which is kind of a goofy thing to say, but it makes sense. Because his arm that has these like the Hydra snakes, this is a better artwork with it. It's like bone. It's like bone and skeleton, and like it's some sort of demonic arm. Let's see if that's a better image of it. Trying to see if I can find a good image. No, let me zoom in. Let me zoom. Let me zoom. But and this was the rumor engine basically implying that he had the spear. But like, there we go. That's kind of a better, just cutting off the coolest part about him. There we go. That's a good look at it here. This is so cool to me. Like, that is such a sick design for something. Especially because, like, I do love the idea of, like, Alpha Legion not only doing the goofy things that they do, but also kind of hitting the same thing as like word bearers, where it's like they have a lot of sorcerers for divination and stuff and their secret stuff, but like that's the consequence of using it. But they're the like force that is sneaky, but also willing to use tactics that others won't use. I do like it. And God, what a cool character. I will say that like this is just a very sick, this is some sick character art. Like, this is the same kind of like aura that a villain gives. Like, this is badass artwork. By Preguisi. I don't. I'm sorry. I'm not good at pronouncing Italian. Um, but like this is that's the thing that upsets me is I'm like, as much as I like that idea, also come on, give us this. This is so cool. Like, people are taking it upon themselves, and look at how amazing that miniature looks. That looks so cool. But what an interesting character, right? He's got like a mortal advisor. He's it's I will say they've de-swagged the boy though. I can't believe it. They de-swagged him. They took off his cool little scales. Oh, what have they done? They've massacred this man. Oh no. That does suck. He needs more scales. But that's really cool. I do thoroughly enjoy the idea of like the demonic side of things having both a positive but also maybe a negative effect. But unlike like there's some Chaos Legions that are just embracing it. There's some Chaos Legions like the Iron Warriors that cut it off. But this kind of like almost reserved for power kind of idea. I think that's cool. That's a cool designed one too. That spear is crazy though. Oh man, I had some Wingstop yesterday. It is messing my tummy up. Interesting. Ugh, little stomach. I hope I don't have the cyclocyporia. That would not be good. Ugh. No, I'm fine. Just spicy food. Spicy food is good, but it makes my tum tum hurt the next day. Look at that snake man. Look at the snake dude. But that's that I think is funny. So to tie basically the reason I brought up this character is that I wonder if that's the reason why there's a new book coming out, is also because there's a new Trazen coming out. But also, especially with this example, it also could be nothing, to the point where it's like they've done this before where they've messed it up and said, like, we are gonna release this new model, to the point where they're like, yeah, you could put it in the forward, and then they put the book out and went, actually, we're not gonna release it. And that to me is where it's like, yeah, they could still do that. Who knows? So I like I hope that it means a new model is coming, but it also could just mean nothing, which is very much very much the classic GW idea of things. Oh, gassy. But yeah. Are there any characters that you guys would like to see join the models from the wow, that sounded like a fart. Um it's just my chair, guys. It's just my chair. Is there any models that like you guys would like to see as characters from the book? Um I'm trying to think. There's a couple of characters. I wish that if Fabius Bile's book was still kind of like within canon, I would have loved to get a retinue similar to like the Masters of the Maelstrom, like a command squad, but it's all of the like different leaders from the Fabius Bile trilogy. So you've got like the word eater guy, word eater, what? World eaters, word eaters. Um, one of cosplayers, one of my friends over that was up at Adepticon last year, she actually brought up a bunch of models that were supposed to represent like Gulgor the plague guy and the demonic like dude as well. So it's cool because the game will allow you to kind of make those characters, which is fun. But I would like some official versions, but unfortunately, I think the novels have been retconned technically. So I don't know if it's technically canon, even though it's a big it's like major lore about Fabius Bile, but it was also retcon, but at the same time, right? So that's my thinking with that. I hope that would be cool. Um I know there's some Night Lord characters that people want. I think the unfortunate thing about some of them is that I don't know if all of them are operating in the same way as they used to. So that's, I think, kind of the big problem. I didn't end up getting to read Remnant Blade, but I don't know if the main character of that one survives. I don't know, and I think that's kind of the problem with a lot of Chaos characters is that the writers have great character design to the point where I'm even one of my miniatures is getting major influence from the Renegades book because that Renegades Lord of Excess book is just so good. It's such a good book if you haven't read it, especially if you like EC. I think it just got released again. Um, I think it's probably one of my favorite Emperor's Children books that they've come up with. The plot of it, the plot of the book is that this guy, Xantine, and you can see his demonic girlfriend right here. That's his girlfriend, by the way. They're in a relationship. It's very interesting. They're like technically married. But so this guy right here is an children like warband leader, and he goes to a planet that has a bunch of these like beauty enhancing drugs, like longevity drugs. And when they get to this planet and they're planning on raiding it, they find that there is a incursion, like basically a insurrection going on the planet. So when the government reaches out to their ship, they assume, because they haven't been in contact with the Imperium for so long, they assume that the Emperor's children are loyalist Astartes. And so the Emperor's children, hearing this information, not only go, oh, interesting, they go along with the game. And so the entire book is basically about this Emperor's Children warband trying to kind of pretend like they're normal guys at some point, but also at the same time, like being incredibly bad at that because they're Emperor's children and they're not good at subtlety no matter what. Um, but like if you read some of the book, you'll see like why Xantine doesn't get made into a model, particularly because his book is supposed to be very self-contained, right? If Xantine became an epic hero, then the scope of the book would expand a lot more to the point in which that's not really the point. And I think that is an unfortunate thing about Chaos characters is that even though you can write a really good and really intriguing character with Chaos, you then also have to remember a lot of the Chaos characters, if they don't end up having a tragic flaw or a tragic end at the end of the book, it's one of those things where it's like that removes some of the parts of the character almost. But I don't know. I'm personally a big fan of this book. I think that they could have probably kept him around. Xantine, I think, is a really interesting character. Um, I think that demon possessing needs to be a thing in EC. Uh, I think we need some sort of model that represents something being possessed, which I wouldn't be surprised if what we get for a new model for Emperor's Children is basically like a paste of the Slaughterbound, right? Where it's basically the cool flawless blades don't like being possessed. Well, this guy does, right? And his whole thing is that he brings guys back, or maybe even just an apothecary that has the same kind of profile. in which it would be something that would be with some possessing, hopefully, because it is something in Emperor's Children warbands that they do have a fetish for being possessed, right? They actually like being possessed and feeling the pain about what happens. But I definitely recommend checking it out. The audiobook of this is phenomenal. It's really good. Um, oh, this is cool. I haven't read this actually. And this is actually I'm gonna check this out at some point because I haven't read this one, but it's by the same author. And I recommend anything that that dude writes because he's got a really good that or Ian St. Martin also is a phenomenal writer. Oh, I need to read this short. What is this? I don't think I've read this. I need to read this. Space Wolves Hunting Lucius. That's right up my alley. That's a perfect book for me. I'll have to check that out. I guess they did a Call of Chaos where it's a bunch of different chaos books. That's cool. I might do that. I might read that tonight or today. What other? I was like, is there any other? Because there's some of these Fabius Bile books that I haven't read. Interesting. Because this is funny because this Light of the Crystal Sun just seems very similar to stuff that was going on in this trilogy. So I wonder if this is like a short story from that. But we're learning. But yeah, another book that I thoroughly recommend if you haven't read it is Lucius the Faultless Blade by Ian St. Martin. This is probably one of the best books written about Lucius that has ever come out, in my opinion. Even the stuff in Heresy is really interesting, but this is real interesting. And I thoroughly recommend it. It's probably my favorite book that they've done so far in general. Specifically because this goes in a lot of like, if you have a question of why and how Lucius works in 40K, this book explains it and makes it make sense. Right? Where I've had multiple people being like, I don't understand why Lucius doesn't make a lot of sense. But the Ian St. Martin book explains Lucius in a really well done way. But yeah, that is something that I thoroughly recommend if you would like doing EC stuff. But yeah, so like with a lot of these books, I really hope that they're going to make new models from it, but it doesn't seem like that's always the case, which is kind of frustrating. Yeah, and right now it looks like basically what's going on is that we've got New White Dwarf talking about new edition stuff. And once again, we're on the Necromunda wave where it's getting all the Necromunda stuff out for the new edition of Necromunda, which is cool. I'm excited for Necromunda. I think it's going to be fun. I might even pick it up and play it. Oh, that's fun. They've made a new mini game that's a racing game for Necromunda. I might do that, actually. Now, this I might do. That's really fun. Look, there's a little Gene. I can make my Gene Stealer car do that. But that's really fun to be able to make a little racetrack. That's super cool. But yeah, right now, unfortunately, just for 40K news, there's just not really much going on to talk about for the end of the stream. I'm really excited about this new book, by the way. I'm very excited. I'm very interested in what the book is going to be about, as it's just him fighting Death Guard so far, but also means the Death Guard have shown up on Fenris. And that's a big deal. How are we feeling about the new Space Marine 2 update? I honestly haven't been playing much Space Marine 2 in a second. I like Space Marine 2. I'm having fun with it, but it's definitely one of those things if I don't really find interest in the PvP all that much. So what's in the update is it's this champion skin for salamanders, which is going to be for the heavy. You also got some new relic and heroic weapons like this Melta which I've heard bad things about, unfortunately. And then also this new Death Watch arm, which is a little bit more Death Watchy, which than the original one that they had. It's also gonna have the Raptors cosmetic pack with it, which is gonna give you a little bit more of like some stealthier options when it comes to like some of your Phobos or even like your tactical guy. Right. So like this one's really cool with the double-headed eagle, but also all of the like packs and like camo and stuff. New sniper rifle look, a new helmet with tactical like visor stuff for your augments. I love these helmets. This is super sick. This breastplate that is like the double-headed eagle with the bandolier and the grenades. That's pretty cool. I might equip that on some heretics, but then also you can get the Imperium cape, which is cool. This is also the one. Two maps for PvP. It's also including this new sword here for salamanders and the salamander like gear and stuff. Yeah, it looks like some of the new armor stuff, new sniper rifle, new maps, right? Some new maps, which is cool because I don't think we've had some PvP in a while. But yeah, and then there's a new enemy for which is the Terminator Occult Sorcerer, which this is what I'm excited about playing against. I'm very excited to jump in and try playing the Occult Terminator Sorcerer. I think for me, my biggest thing is that I do wish, I do partially wish that there was some more support for Chaos, but I also completely understand why it's not like, hey guys, you could put Chaos armor and play as Chaos during the PvE. And I'm like, but I really want to. I really want to. And like, I know I can make my own Emperor's Children in there, and I do, but I'm not a loyalist. I'm not. I have my Space Wolves, but I'm not a loyalist. I like the traders. The traders are fun. Give me more trader stuff. I think that's another reason why. Oh, that's cool. New Death. I don't know if this is new, but Deathwatch chestplate looks nice. I really want there to be a like even when we talk and joke about the year of chaos, right? I'm really, really, really waiting for some love for chaos, especially Emperor's Children, right? We're gonna become the bad guys in Bolt Gun, and I'm gonna be real when Gun 2 comes out, which when does Bolt Gun 2 come out? I will probably start playing some Bolt Gun 2. I also might because I am while we're still waiting on news, I also might start a Rogue Trader game that we can start streaming together and have a fun game with because I like playing Bolt Gun and it would have some EC in it. When is Bolt Gun 2 coming out? Tell me it's already out. It's probably already out. Okay, so it doesn't have a release date. All right, cool. It is. I did play the demo. The demo looks really fun. I am upset on the fact that it didn't include EC, which I know why you don't get to play as EC yet. New enemies face never before seen foes. Yeah, like guys who came out this year or last year. I want to play them. Let me do it. If you've also haven't played the type to speed the type one, it's pretty fun. But yeah, because that's the thing is we can do list clinics all day, but it might just be more fun to try and play some games and have some more entertaining stuff than just to hear me talk. Because I can talk for forever, but I know that at the same time we all want something to watch as well. Space Marine 2 already pushes what's lore accurate, so why not make the cool chaos skins available as a trait? Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing is that I think it is interesting, especially from a lore point of view, when the game kind of assumes you're playing as Ultramarines the entire time, right? When the game also then allows you to be like, but we're not playing as Ultramarines. I'm playing as a Space Wolf. You're playing as a Raven Guard, and I'm playing, and my buddy's playing as a Salamander. right? And it's like, I understand that you're doing that. And I also understand like the difference between having a loyalist chapter fire team of different guys versus, hey, there's two loyalists and that dude is from the same legion we're fighting right now with Thousand Sons. Like, I understand why GW might be like, hey, we can get goofy and silly, but there's nothing goofier and sillier than that's a Chaos Marine, you know? And like, I do understand. As much as I complain about it, I do also appreciate the fact that they're not willing to just do Fortnite, right? Or the Magic the Gathering thing where they're just like, hey, we're just going to throw things in here until you tell me that this is good and you'll give me the money. You know what I mean? Where it's like Fortnite, it feels like every skin is just a cash grab of like, all right, well, we didn't have this community in Fortnite yet, so we're going to get them in there too. You know, it's like the minute that is there any Warhammer skins in Fortnite? That's a good question. In Fortnite. Yeah. There's not, but there are no they have not announced. Oh, okay. I thought they said that they announced them already that they were gonna do. But no, they haven't done it yet. Like, and I don't see them doing that anytime soon, but I wouldn't be surprised if, especially since they're doing it with Helldivers, so I wouldn't, and they've already done it with Call of Duty as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up happening, right? But it's one of those things where it's like I do appreciate GW for not going down like the Wizards of the Coast route, where now randomly in 40K, there's a version of 40K that includes Spider-Man. Like, I'm going to be completely real. If they tried and did that with 40K, you'd probably lose the crowd in the community because I'd be like, I don't want to play with a different universe. That's the reason I play 40K. So that's something that I do appreciate on the fact that they haven't gone all crazy with some of their games. Now, while saying that, where is my Chaos Space Marine game? We've had 2 Space Marine games, and we haven't had a single Chaos Space Marine game that is focused on. Is there any game that focuses on chaos? Warhammer video game where you play as chaos. I don't really like, unless it's a game where you could play as other things. Like, yeah, Total War, Warhammer Gladius, and that. There's no like actual. Oh, there's Mark of Chaos. But that's Warhammer Fantasy. There's not a single like actual game that is going to be where you actually get to play as a chaos character. And to me, that is something that like people would, I'm very, very surprised that there's not like a chaos demon gate where you get to play as a little 5-man warband, you know, or a little 4-man strike team of even like Night Lords. You've got like Mechanicus. I don't even think there's a Necron game. Like, that's the thing is like they're sitting on all this stuff where it's like, all right, we're gonna have a Space Marine 3. When it's like, I want a Chaos Space Marine. Why do not we have Chaos Space Marine, right? And tell the story from a Black Legion Marine. Because there's so many fascinating stories in Chaos, right? But there's not a single like game, right, that is basically for playing as like chaos themselves. Even if it is, it's not, there's not a game where it's like you can only play as chaos. And to me, that does kind of suck because like as a chaos player, it is the funny thing of like we're supposed to be one of the biggest, baddest threats in the galaxy too. We're also very underrepresented at times, where it's like, by the way, chaos, it's not doing much, right? Like one of my biggest complaints from the Emperor's Children stuff, and I'll do this before wrapping up here. Like one of my biggest complaints was they were like, all right, cool, Emperor's Children are in the galaxy now. You're a faction, you have a codex. Rah. And they're like, okay, cool. You attacked Crucible, you did that, you attacked a ship. All right, cool. What else are you doing? You're not doing anything. What? You're not doing a single thing in the galaxy right now. And you're like, nothing? We're not doing anything? And they're like, no, Fulgrim's not doing anything. You're like, okay. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And I know we're waiting on it, but at the same time, like, you know. So as much as I would like cool Chaos Kids in Space Marine 2, I also just want the Chaos Space Marine game. Like, where is the Chaos Space Marine game? There's plenty of people that play Chaos, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? We could even play a playthrough of the Dawn of War mod that I just got. I would probably need to check the contents of that mod though, because I know there are some corrupted Sisters of Battle, and I don't know if they did a good job making sure the models aren't inappropriate for YouTube. So we'll see. I'll take a look at that, but maybe on Monday we'll do we'll do a stream with, because I will be Warhammered out unless there's some interesting news. We might do a Rogue Trader, Space Marine, or Dawn of War stream, because I just need stuff to talk about, man. They're not giving me any news to talk about. Nothing's going on yet. So I'm really excited to play this GT and get you guys some information about how the GTs are going. I'm also very excited to just report back on how I do, because if I do better than I did last time, I hope I can get paid. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out, even though this stream was a little bit lower energy than normal. Thank you guys for bearing with me this week. I know I'm not my normal self, but I really appreciate you guys. Can't talk. You guys for holding true to me and hanging out and, keeping me company during these streams. So it's always fun hanging out with y'all. It's always fun talking Warhammer. But until next time, I will see y'all on the battlefield.